I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers, and welcome to the Vagrant Queen After Show. We are talking about that epic finale, All Things Old Must Pass, Part 2. We got the full house today. My name is Kari Lane, and welcome back my awesome and amazing, talented, and super proactive co-host, James.
Hi, I'm so happy to be back. Kari, the 2 weeks without you have been hell. I don't appreciate it, but you know what I was out doing, and I was out fighting for our cause, for our people. So I know you and our fans will excuse my absence, but trust and believe, baby boy was missing some Kari Lane desperately this past couple of weeks.
Oh, well, I missed you, but I do want to give a shout out. Thank you very much for Paul, who joined us last week and talked about episode 9. It was fun to dive into the villain and stuff behind all of that. But James, so happy you're back, and happy all of you watching are back. We have a live chat. Thank you everybody who's been so supportive online. Special shout out, Millie. You've been messaging us like, hey, is it today? And I was like, oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Millie, we so love you. Like your tweets, your love, we feel it, we love it, we share it, and like especially given the times of what's going on right now, the little bit of love you've shown us has meant so much. So thank you, Millie, in particular, our like #1 fan.
And everybody else, we love you as well. Thank you for sharing, retweeting, everything. So we'll dive into what's on this episode. We have our special segment at the end, which will also semi-tie into current events. And actually, interestingly enough, I saw somebody else's tweet, and I wholeheartedly agree. This episode very serendipitously almost lined up with current events, and that is such a trip because they filmed it, a while ago, but the way it came out tied into current events so much. So, James, how was that for you watching it? And then also, you literally were out in the streets experiencing it.
Yeah. So I will apologize to you guys now if you can see a little schwitz here because I'm just getting back from the LGBT BLM combined Black Lives Matter protest. So I have to say, like you said a moment ago, Kari, it's uncanny how Jem was able to film these episodes and they've overlapped with current events. Like I know the episode 9. They were doing a protest thing. And I was like, even as I, to be very honest with all of you, as we always are, I text Kari and I was like, Kari, like, I don't know if I can finish this episode because like, that was for me in particular, that was in the heart of the BLM protest here in Los Angeles. So it was not easy to watch because it was so reflexive of what was going on in my personal life, in our personal lives as well. But I have to say this episode really, though it overlapped, it really, I hope that it gave our sci-fi audience an insight into what's going on and in what ways they can adapt some of the themes and nuances that we get from Vagrant Queen into their own personal life. So again, it is uncanny how these things overlap, but I hope that our audience gets the message that I think Jen was trying to portray here.
Yeah, it's so interesting to have watched it through the lens of current events. It almost was more uncomfortable to talk about it last week, and talking to Paul, even though he was a gem, he was great. But it was so weird through like knowing what's going on. So it was really intense to watch these episodes for sure. But how do we feel as a finale? I think personally, I think it ended well. I would love for there to be more, but I think it ends like this was a good finale episode. A lot of things wrapped up well, a lot of things we would want to happen, but it does leave the door open for more. James, what do you think?
I wholly agree. The season finale of the first season here, it really, like you said, it wrapped things up in a great way for me. I was happy to see that we kind of like finally achieved the goal that we had in line the entire season. Though it was episode 9, I'm happy to say we finally got the kiss between Amae and Elida. I know you guys talked about that last episode. But also too, it was interesting to see like to see the personal side of Xevelyn, of Queen Xevelyn, that we really haven't seen because the majority of her interactions have all been flashbacks. So it was finally great to see Xevelyn interact with Elida, and I'm sure you guys know now after seeing the finale, like things didn't go exactly as planned, but it was a great way to tie things up, and it left me on the edge of my seat because of the potential season 2, the themes that we could experience for season 2 as well.
And no word yet on if there's a season 2 or not, but we will definitely let you know as soon as we hear something. We all hope there
Fingers
will be.
crossed.
Yes. All right. So, beginning of the episode, we have Desai, she's prepping to bomb the entire city, which is pretty intense. Uh, how do you feel with how that went down? I kind of was like, oh, it was so sad for
Yeah.
Desai and all of the fleet, and it was just like,
Yeah, like I felt the same way. Like in watching it, you hope for the best and you hope for
mhm,
that like Disney Channel end that where everyone's like, oh, good, and like happily ever after. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And General Desai, I didn't realize how much of a heavy role she played in the like the things we didn't see before the first episode. Like she played a very heavy role in a lot of the decisions that were made. So it was a sad moment. But this may sound morbid, but I kind of think it had to happen. I think it
mm,
had to happen. To really, I don't know, to kind of like to bring us to a bit of solidarity in a sense. I want to say, I don't know, like I feel like
oh, sure, yeah.
she the goal was such a destructive thing. Like it was one of those things that the common theme of this episode I kept realizing was like one thing is not bigger than the greater picture. I feel like that was I kind of looked at it like that. It was like though you gonna have to do this, but I think Desai was thinking about the greater picture of things. I believe.
You know what? I just thinking of it now, it's almost ironic because the king before was so heavy-handed of taking care of things, and the queen, Evelyn, was really like, "Hey, let's pull back. Let's not go about it that way." And Desai wasn't really liking what the king did, but then now here she is doing destruction later. So in preventing the destruction he wanted, she almost brought about it, and you're like,
Wait a second. Yeah.
okay.
I thought that was a good point too. I don't want to skip over this, and we may get to it later. But I think that interaction between the king and Xevelyn was super, super interesting. I think I can speak for myself. For a very long time, I thought that Hath was Elida's dad because they had such a mother
Hmm.
daughter relationship. But to see the king and to see, I mean, I know we know what happened with him with the poison and everything like that, but to see that dynamic between Xevelyn and the king was super interesting because I didn't picture him as being this like maleficent being, but he in a sense kind of was.
Yeah, he wasn't evil, but he definitely didn't really care about the
Right.
people the way he probably should have as a king. Uh there we go. Oh, the fact that she spared Zevlin, she spared young Lazaro as a kid. That's like, whoa, small
Mhm.
world of
Mm.
things coming back together. Yeah, so we have when we first get her flashback, it's 22 years ago. Uh Also how it's tied into current events of its protests, and she doesn't want Zeppelin does not want the king to send like the army to calm the
Yeah.
protests down. You're like, wow, current events. Maybe you shouldn't
How-
use brute force.
right.
Oh,
There was
so
another moment.
timely.
There was another moment too, and it was very small, but there was a moment in this episode that I think it was Elida. She said, "You're a bad leader and you have bad hair." Do you remember that? I think they were
Yes,
fighting
to
each other
Lazaro.
to Lazaro, and that was another theme. I was like, wait a second, is she talking about a certain United States president we may have right now? I don't know, but those overlaps are really, really uncanny. And again, I could be extrapolating, nothing from something, but or something from nothing rather. But I thought these themes of like current events, again, they're just so uncanny. How Jem was able to like predict the future in a sense.
Sad, I guess, in a way we saw it coming.
Yeah, touche. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So we have also Alida's trying to, go through and evade all the guards. Uh, where was it? Oh yeah, Alita and Xevelyn when they first get reunited. I like that the Evelyn or Xevelyn acknowledges that the loyalist made a mistake by telling her the lie, by telling Alita the lie, and I'm like, oh, okay, well that's good on her.
Yeah.
And it's your home and your legacy, and then she's like, but I don't want all of this. Something I kind of noticed it before, but I just saw this looking on Twitter. And great job everybody keeping the discussion going on Twitter. I love seeing everybody
Hmm.
about the show. Pointed out how it's your chosen family that honor your name more than the family that you are blood related to,
Ooh.
because the mom says her name wrong, and it's her friends who correct her. And I'm
Correct her.
like,
Yep.
yes, go chosen friends and family.
Mhm.
So I thought that was a nice, also very timely with current events as well.
Exactly. Exactly. I never
Yeah.
really thought about that, but you're absolutely right. That moment was very subtle, and I didn't even notice it myself. But in this instance, you're incredibly right. We've seen, and the cool thing about this is that we've seen this family grow, this
Hmm.
non-blood family grow with Elida, Amae, and Isaac, and it really is true. In that instance, the family had to check the mother, be like, okay, that's not where she is now. Here's where she is, and here's what she's called. And so I thought that was a great point that I've never really noticed. So good on you for pointing that out.
Well, thank you. And then thank you on Twitter. I
Oh yeah, y'all too.
thank you for writing that too. So then they're talking about pretty much they need to end this all together, and their decision. Oh yeah, the discussion of to destroy the sterzaad or not. And Elida 100% is like, we need to destroy it. I agree with her. It's one of those, it's just too
Hmm.
powerful to let it be out in the open. And it was making me very suspicious of her mother, that she's like, no. And I'm like, why would you want to keep a brain mind control device around? That's just
Hmm.
wrong. Were
Yeah,
you
I agree. And I feel like I don't know what episode it was, but I remember us thinking back. I remember us in the past looking to where we are now, thinking about
Mm-hmm.
Xevelyn, and she's always had this like pseudo sinister kind of like vibe to her to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in this entire episode, I was kind of waiting for that that switch up for like the mom to take off the mask and be like, here's who I really am. So when she alluded to that, I definitely was like, are you trying to harness this power for yourself or what?
Mm-hmm.
Because it seemed to be, a common theme and a common narrative for everyone to destroy one of the most powerful things in their universe because it like controls minds and it's this like beacon of destruction. So when she refuted destroying it, I was kind of like, well, what are you up to, mom?
Right. I like these seeds planted early on of like,
Hmm.
really suspicious. Oh, also, awful life lesson on the mom talking about, oh, we did get confirmation that Xevelyn can't rule because she is not royal blood. We were discussing that
Right.
before, but now we finally have that, oh, well, I can't rule, I'm not royal blood. But the life lesson on the greater good of wanting to kill her pet, that was also immediate, like, I am not
Hmm.
on team mom at all.
Yeah, that was a hell of a
I was like,
life lesson in that kind of way too. I'm like,
yeah,
and I think it was half brought out I don't know the name of the
the
creature,
pet, yeah,
the pet.
but I mad props to Hath though, because he seemed at least to feel awful about it, and they had the little
Yeah,
tank
the
of
little tank
water
on the.
ready.
Yeah.
But
But
no,
luckily, young Alita, I think made the right choice, and and
yes,
and 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 luckily, when she not walked away, she cried and ran away. To be honest,
yeah,
the little discussion between Hath and Xevelyn, it won't poison the lake or anything like that. So it
yeah,
was a test. So it was good that Alita chose her heart and chose like the right thing to do, and it won't like mess up the ecosystem of their planet.
right. Oh, I did love the joke in the palace. Go Isaac Tim for the Infinity Stone joke. I was like, perfect, yay,
A little Earth joke finally.
yes, yes. So when they choose like to go for the lab or not, I was getting a little worried again of like everybody splitting up. Okay,
Hmm.
this was also the other moment that tied in so much to current events. First, we get Gladys on the planet, which is our fun alien from way back when, episode 2.
Hmm. Episode 2, I think it
I
was.
Yeah, I loved her bubblegum chewing, I don't care attitude, and
I
she
love
enough
the
for
hair,
fun.
honey.
Oh,
The
I love her hair.
hair was amazing.
And I like when she shows up when bumps into Chaz and his group, and this is
Yeah.
Zijah Punk. Oh, it made
Yeah.
me so happy.
Yeah. I didn't think we would see Chaz again because he played
Same.
such a big role in the first couple episodes, the first 3 or 4
Mhm.
episodes, really. I feel like he really did like facilitate them like going on this journey together. And being blood relatives to Amae, I would think that he would come up again. So I was like really, really happy. And it was such a like a Robin Hood moment for him to like swoop in and kind of like save the people of the city instead of like, destroying Lazaro. So I thought it was a really cool moment for him.
Well, also it's almost the foreshadowing, predicting of current events of the protesters versus rioters, that those are
Mhm.
very different people. You're
Yes,
not
they
paying
are.
attention to current events. And so Chaz and them hop in and they are stopping some of the people doing destruction and are helping
Yeah.
people out. So I was like, oh wow, this is even more like so right now. Jem, man, brilliant. You
Yeah,
in my
you really
mind.
did knock it out of the park. Like Jen might
Yeah.
be a psychic in like
Right?
in her like as her hobby because these
Yes.
themes are overlapping a little too closely. If you ask me, it's kind of crazy.
Yes. So we have the lab, and I love that Isaac finds out he could go home, but he acknowledges that this is bigger than me, which is a big like moment for him, of him
Mhm.
the entire show just wanting to go home, and now he's ready to, bigger than me. I will let go of
Yeah.
it. I was like, oh, oh.
Yeah, that was that was a sad moment, and like I feel like towards the latter half of the season, we really started to see Isaac as more than this like smooth talking like
Mm-hmm.
grunty kind of guy. Like you really do see like he has this like heart and compassion, and I think Alita mentioned she says this towards the end of this episode. She was like, you would make a really good dad." And like
Yeah.
I thought that was such a sweet moment, and because he like sacrificed his own happiness for the greater good, like it's like that's a typical patriarch like dad thing to do. So I was
Mm,
really happy to see him make that decision for not only himself but for like his new nuclear family.
yeah. That's a good comparison. I hadn't thought of it that way. That would be a good thing for a father, a mentality to have.
Hmm.
All right, so were you surprised when Amae comes to get Elida and takes her downstairs? I was like, oh no. Ah, it's uh disappointed but not surprised.
For which part again?
Like, no. The fact that Amae is the one who gets Elida, takes her down to the lab, and that
Oh,
she's
I
under control. You're like,
know. No. See, like, and the
and
weird part
stabs
about
her.
that, I know. I was like,
Mm,
what is happening? Because we all we know the power of the sterzaad. So we had those of us who
mhm.
follow the show for some time, we probably what's going on like in Ame's head. But it was the visual of like y'all have been trying so hard and we've been gunning for you so hard to be together, and to see that happen, you were like,
Mhm.
a little part of me died. A little part of me died. I will say
And you can see it
that.
on her face. Great job to Alex of acting that out. Of like, it
Yeah.
pained her so much to do that. I wonder, like, I mean, this would have been, I don't know if she discussed it with actor and director. That I wonder if it's like, okay, the command is to stab, but I wonder if the character has any control over, well, if I stab them here, it would be less lethal. Because we
Hmm.
did learn it didn't kill her. So it's one of those, yes, I did
Yeah.
what you told me to do, but maybe I'm going to do it less damaging.
That's a good point too, because if you think about the other characters that have been like had their mind controlled from the Starzad through
Yeah.
Lazaro, um, they have not held anything back. I know that infamous scene, the
Yeah.
comic book scenes, as we call it, I think from episode 8 with the generals in the
Yeah.
in the
Hmm.
call, like that was like a very gruesome scene, and they did not hold back at all. So perhaps there is some type of like level of mind control, because I think that
Maybe.
Ame did kind of jab her in the right place where Alita was able to live and fight for the next, hopefully forever. Fingers crossed.
Because she didn't do like,
Like,
stab in the heart or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. We get, as you mentioned earlier, that's also that moment when we get the 15 years ago, the greater good that Xevelyn killed the king. Also one of those like, oh,
See, that's what I'm talking
mm,
about. She has these little blips of like being
yep,
sinister. Just
yep.
saying.
So this is the moment. Also, I got super excited when Lazaro and Elida are talking, that he just pretty much says we're similar, that we're both pawns being used, which I'm like,
Mhm.
maybe, but not really. That she is immune. Yes. I
Yup.
was like, yay.
Yup.
Because
You know what?
you're
Yeah, I
sitting
knew it.
there
Like,
like,
I know. It's like, don't do it. Don't do it. The part that got, again, as like mega fans of the show, I know you noticed this too, and I'm sure the people watching our show now notice this as well. But I'll just say it: the fact that her eyes didn't change color, I was like, okay, she's immune.
oh,
Did you notice that?
good call. I'm
Yeah.
probably, but it was more just the, I'm
You
like,
were
oh,
in
she's just
shock.
gonna go along with it. And I'm just like, well, because you don't want to like get your hopes up and get smashed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's like,
Ooh.
yeah.
Yeah, when I noticed her eyes didn't change color, I was like, okay, I think
Yo,
that
that's
she
an
might be
indicator.
onto something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You could have cheated shooting that though and shot it from like a different angle where you don't see
Touche.
her eyes. So, but
You
yeah,
hear
it
that?
kept us guessing.
You hear that, Jem? Kari Lane is giving you shot direction. You need to hire this girl.
Oh no. So they get when the scientist died, I was super bummed that she died.
Oh, I know. I don't know why. What throughout the entire series, we always have those characters who are like not really like we call them like the JV squad. They're not really like prominent characters,
Yeah.
but they like stand out to us. The scientist is one of them. I don't even think does she have a name?
I never caught her name. I feel they
Yeah,
maybe said it once. If you know,
we
please
could have
comment
forgotten
down
it.
below.
Yeah, let us know. But the scientist plays like such a big role, and she got them guns though. She
Mhm.
got them good guns. So I was so happy to see her. But it was such an unfortunate thing too. And I
Yeah.
feel like too, this was one of the few characters that Isaac really connected with. Like,
Yeah.
because he's a very closed off kind of character. So I know that they had that infamous train scene at the Sunshine Express, I think it was.
Yep.
So it was cool to see Isaac like, I know you. Like, hey, welcome.
He's so excited.
Yeah, yeah. So I think
Well,
it made it like
also-
that extra sad when she died.
Yeah. I do like that she had a lot of sass at the end of like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna die. Go do something else, man.
Yeah.
Like,
And didn't she give Isaac or one of them like the healing gun for
oh yeah, don't use it on me for use
on me.
it on Elida. Yes, good call. All right, so then we get the really fun, epic fight scene between
So
Lazaro
good.
and Elida.
So
And
good.
here's another interesting current events thing, talking about the legacy of our fathers. I was like,
Now, how
But-
much of an overlap is
Whew.
that with what's going on
Yeah.
right now?
oh my goodness, yes. But
Yeah.
she's like, I'm not my parent and I'm going to do my own thing. And that fight, they did a great job.
They
that
did
fight
so
scene,
good.
So good.
There was one part in particular. I don't remember where it was. I think it was. I want to say towards the middle of the scene, but like you see Lazaro like punch Elida, and you see the blood come out of her face as she hits the ground. I was like, we know, we're not like best friends, but Kari and I know Adrian, so I was like, no, Adrian, not our baby, no.
Yeah, they did a great job of making it look realistic as a fight too. Because I mean, just literal physics of he is a bigger male to her smaller female.
she
That
is
I'm like,
tiny.
no, he's bigger.
Yeah.
But I like that she's able to do damage realistically rather than like super powered suddenly, and you're like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, you could have been using that for episodes, many episodes ago. So it was cool to see that. You're right.
But good thing she gets her gun at the end, and that is our quick mannequin challenge. And this is a television show, but I am so glad she killed him. So glad.
Yeah, I have to agree.
Whew.
Yeah, like I didn't think, you would think that we would know this by now, but I feel like every episode I'm always like, oh God. Oh, that's
that's
a
blood.
That's a boom situation. Is this what is this rated? I'm like, God damn.
It was intense, but it's one of those things. And again, we're not talking real life, so nobody misconstrue this. But within fiction, often the characters, the heroes, need to kill the villains, because if they don't, they will go on to kill so many more. It's been in so many stories that you're like, because Lazaro, there's no way he would change ever. No, he is just gone.
I don't know if we'll briefly mention this, but because I think it bears repeating. Lazaro killed his parents.
That too.
Like
he was okay killing his
like
parents.
he's like Lazaro's crazy. Like Lazaro's crazy, and he tried to fight for his mom. And I thought to myself, I was thinking again, like the little kid in all of us is always like Disney Channel movie, like it's not gonna happen that way. I was shocked. Because I know him and his dad had contention with each other, but him and his mom, like that is the one being that I felt like really humanized him. So I was genuinely shocked when he took out his mom.
If you are new to our after show, go check out last week's episode where we did talk with Paul, and we did talk about this particular moment. And for me watching, I felt this was that moment where Lazaro checked out. He is not redeemable anymore. When he is able to kill his mother that he is so close to, that was when it's like there's no going back.
Yeah.
So go watch and see what Paul said.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Millie in the chat says such a great fight scene with Adrian and Paul, and that mannequin challenge was
Was
sick. Yes,
we agree,
it's
Millie?
good. It was intense, and I'm glad it was very satisfying because I don't think there's any other way. Because otherwise, he'd be a prisoner for life. That
Mhm.
no. So we get the ship. I feel Volun and Xevelyn are being super suspicious, and it was what we thought. I like Amae's plan though, that like, okay, maybe Isaac can go home and that will be
Yeah.
how they can do that. And the moment where I do think when, and again, if we're fans, we can criticize stuff because that means we love it and we want it to be as best as possible.
Mhm.
I didn't love how Amae just kind of disappeared. I thought she was going to go like secretly listen in on something,
Mhm.
but there was no payoff on that. So I would almost wish her to have left with more purpose. Like, oh, I'm working
Yeah.
on something in the back.
I kind of felt the same way. Like, Ame has played. I mean, she's part of the trio. Like, she's part of the
Yeah.
family. So I was genuinely shocked. Like, it was almost, again, we love the show. Obviously,
Yeah.
we love everybody and everything. But that one part, I was like, I was waiting for like the Ame grand finale, and I kind of feel like she
Mm-hmm.
went out with the fizzle. So again, fingers crossed for a potential season 2 because that would be an incredible story arc reuniting Ame to Isaac and Elida,
Mm-hmm.
wherever Ame may be, because the ship is where presumably at Earth, but we don't really know
Mm-hmm.
yet. So yeah, I wholly agree. It was kind of like a fizzle. I was like, but
Yeah,
y'all
it
are
was
just
like,
getting together. Like,
okay.
but wait,
Yep.
we love you, Ame. So I agree.
Yes. But as you said, we have the nice moment with Alita and Isaac, parents. A good point too, and this is for any time period, that parents are pretty much just as clueless as their children. Parents don't always know everything. Maybe they know more from some experience, but it's often the case they do not. So
Mhm.
I thought that was
Totally agree.
cute. And then yes, we have that moment where Xevelyn and Elida are talking about their debate on the sterzaad as a tool, and Alida's great line, essentially the idea that everybody thinks they're using it for good,
Mhm.
and we know that is not the case.
No,
So
it all
can't have
starts
it.
with
Need to get rid of
Lazaro.
it. Yes.
Yes.
And then yeah, the end is the ship disappears. They're on board. Chaz arrives, and he's like, "Where'd they go?" So it's like, well,
Yeah.
hopefully we get our season 2 because
I
what?
know, because I feel like now I forgot about Chaz joining Alita and Isaac because
Yeah.
that just shows an even greater need for like I mean for us for season 2 because now
Yeah.
you have a third connection to Ame, her brother, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a blood connection too. So
Yeah.
I don't know if this means there's a new trio that's Chaz, Alita, and Isaac, or we're going to be into a quartet. We
Right.
can get Amae back, but I hope that we get the family back together because we
We
want
hope
that for
so.
sure.
Yes. So hopefully there's season 2. Any other thoughts on the episode before we get to our special segment?
No, I
All right.
absolutely loved it. I was happy to see things wrap up. I was happy to see a bunch of new familiar faces that we've seen
Mm-hmm.
peppered throughout the season. We got to see a bit more of those characters as well. So yeah, I was super happy with the way this ended.
Well, now we got to figure out how our characters are going to get to Earth because that's where we think they're going.
Yeah.
We got, sorry if I say this wrong, Night Razor with a Y, Night, mentions Earth. Yes, hopefully our new trio can figure out how to follow them. We know some other ships can do it, so maybe they will
Yeah.
try to get one. So we'll see.
Mhm.
Our special segment's a little bit different this
Mhm.
time, but we're still giving you the cool behind the scenes and looking at these awesome characters and people and what it means to have that kind of representation. So, James, for our finale, what is the segment called?
Let's call this one Winnie. What's on your head?
Nice.
So we've been doing the Winnie Who, Winnie What, and shining some spotlight to characters who have been under makeup. But we really want to spotlight several of our Black females in this show. And topic of hair has come up recently. I can recall back to kind of bring things up to a bit more contemporary times. Gabrielle Union, actress, is suing America's Got Talent for a reason similar to what we're going to discuss in a second. So she filed a lawsuit against America's Got Talent, and the lawsuit in the lawsuit she claims that America's Got Talent got on her about her rotating hairstyles. And I think the quote was she said that the producers told her that her hairstyles were too black for a mainstream audience. So, Carrie and I got to thinking, and we really thought it was important to highlight the Black women in this show, and in particular, the hairstyles that they have. Because we know Queen Xevelyn, I'll be very honest, as Carrie and I were texting today, she mentioned to me that Queen Xevelyn shaved her head, and Jem even reported on that. Is that right?
I was trying to find that again, so excuse ours if we can't quite find it. But Xevelyn, I'm pretty sure I saw it somewhere. If someone knows for sure, please comment down below. But shaved her head for the role. Because yeah, I don't remember at the beginning her having the shaved part. So I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow.
Neither do
thought
I.
it
And I
looked
think she's
great.
so good. Like she rocks it very well. Like
Yeah.
not everybody can rock a bald head. But
Yeah.
we really wanted to highlight some of the natural hairstyles of some of the other actresses as well. We have
And then also I was gonna say,
No,
sorry,
please.
real quick.
No,
One
absolutely.
with the shaved head, and then when she has the braids with it too, which is really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the braids too. I thought that was so cool
Yes.
because the braids kind of come around the
Like a
front.
crown.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Oh, great. I never thought about that. You're absolutely right. But we want to highlight some of these other Black actresses, and there's a tweet from at Ace Duggar. He tweeted back on May 19th, and he wanted to highlight some of the Black women in sci-fi, and he simply said, "Black women in sci-fi, yup, yup, yup." Hashtag Vagrant Queen. And he highlights a lot of these, a lot of Black women, and Adrienne herself has rocked her natural hair at this entire episode, and I love to the throwback. Though we are on other planets and other galaxies, we can still pay homage to Black women and celebrate Black women in their hairstyles. So we really wanted to highlight a lot of, very rarely do you see Black women in sci-fi. Even more rarely do you see Black women as leads in sci-fi. So we thought it was super important, and so did Jem. She tweeted on June 4th, highlighting one of the actresses. He says, "I told you we had big plans for Gladys. Is this a setup for her season 2 Vagrant Queen character? I wonder." A little tease from Jem, as she does. Absolutely love working with Gasso Redhulo. I apologize because I'm sure I did not say your name right, but we got love for you.
Yeah, we love
She goes
Gladys's
on,
hair and her whole
so
look.
good. Yeah, she goes in to say so much that after she was on episode 2, I went back and wrote her into episode 10. Definitely more adventures planned for her. So this goes to show the power of Black women and power of Black women in sci-fi, that Jem thought it was so important to highlight them that she rewrote the series to put this actress in episode 10. So that's going to be our special segment for the day, as we want to continue our discussions about Black Lives Matter, and see how we have overlaps in even very obscure realms like sci-fi, and how we can find those overlaps in our own present life as well.
And not only is it women of color lead, Black women lead, and queer as well, which was great to have as a lead character, and it not be a trope, as a realistic relationship. It was not done as a fan service thing, even though fans, of course, enjoyed it. We will love seeing their romance blossom, but it was a realistic thing, and all the other characters that we have come to learn and love over the course of the series. And so I really hope there's season 2, because it's been so fun watching season 1 and talking with all of you and James about it. So I'm sad we're at the end for season 1.
We are, but before we head out, I have to say, as a secondary special segment, I am a Black man in this world, obviously, and I have to say, Kari, I want everyone to know that you guys, Kari has gone out of her way. I could cry right now. Kari has gone out of her way. Don't do it. No, she seriously has gone out of her way to check in with me, post, tweet. She has gone above and beyond. So I personally, as a Black man, we never say this. I'm not going to speak for the Black community, but in this instance, I am. I want to thank you, Kari Lane, because you really showed me that allies truly do exist. Believe it or not, Kari and I have actually never met in person. We've only ever met during this TV show via Zoom. So for her to have moved me in such a way really shows the power of camaraderie, the power of allies. So Kari, from the bottom of my heart, for everyone out there to hear, I want to thank you for your advocacy, for your voice, and for your love throughout this time.
Oh, I'm like, no, you're gonna make me cry. But no, thank you. And I think that just also is a shout out to everybody who wants to help and support. There are many things you can do. If you can't get out and protest, that is okay. There is a lot of other things. There's petitions to sign. You can post about it, educate yourself, learn, listen. It's not a thing where you can just sit by and do nothing. There's always something you can do. and there's a lot of resources online. Come on, we have the internet at our fingertips. There is so
Literally.
much to get out of it. So even sharing like stuff like this show, because it's that representation, it matters. When people see that kind of representation across the board, it opens people's minds of like that's an option to exist.
Absolutely.
So now we got all deep on y'all. But yeah, I think those are some awesome final words to end on. James, is there anything else that you were working on right now to let people know about, because we're done with this show?
Yes. So as Kari mentioned at the top of the show, I have been a massive advocate for Black Lives Matter. I've been protesting every single day, as I said before as we started. I just got back from a LGBT paired with BLM, Black Lives Matter protest. So I do a lot of advocacy. I have a I Love You James series that is available online under my Instagram at Terrell James Maple. I'm also working with AfterBuzz TV now, doing a lot of interviews and a lot of live coverage. So as I said, I just got back from a protest now, so we'll be editing that this week. So look out for something. I'm using the God-given talent that I have, which is my voice, to spread the word for our cause. So please look out for us. Please support us. And yeah, we really do love you guys.
Yes, thank you everybody who is tuned in over the course of this, joining in live or later commenting and on Twitter. It's been really great to feel that sense of community and coming together over something we love, and also causes that we care so much about. For myself, other shows, still doing Demon Slayer, which is an anime, and we talk about that, and also going to be the perspective of plenty of blurs, Black nerds. Those exist. Yes, they do, if you didn't know. But, you know, it's the voice acting community has been really supportive about Black Lives Matter and talking about it, and also just actual representation of the voice behind the character.
Mhm.
So we'll get into some of that as well. So that's Sundays at 6. And yeah, definitely check out James's video. I'm looking forward to seeing what videos you produce. The series is on Instagram, so you can go watch that. And oh, well, James, just in case people don't know where to find you online, where can they find you online specifically? Because you're like, yes, find me, but
you can find me on Instagram at Terrell James Maple. It's TERRELL James JAMES MAPLE, like the tree Maple, and then also on Twitter at James Maple Actor as well.
Nice. And you can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. And let's keep the discussion going. Let's keep talking about awesome stuff like this show, as well as Black Lives Matter, and so much more. This is only the beginning, y'all, and we got momentum. Let's keep it going. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, James. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Kari.
Love you guys.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.